Hey everyone, welcome to another video. I am Chris RÜNGE with RÜNGE Cars, and it's been quite a while since we posted our last update on YouTube, so we wanted to give you guys a quick overview of what we've been doing the last 6 months in the workshop. Let's take a look at what's going on. So in the last few months, we've added this design command center where my friend Jeff Langendorfer, who we've featured in other videos, and my son Finn are working on our latest designs that will be released later in 2025. So another project we've been working on is very interesting. This chassis showed up at the shop about 3.5 years ago. And this is a really unique project because this chassis was built by a gentleman named Ted Dunham over in Michigan. And he was restoring Porsche RS60 chassis 057. And the owner of that car gave him permission to loosely blueprint and build this chassis based off of that original RS60. So Ted went through a very long and tedious process of designing, building this really cool chassis. You can see some of the features here with the dual wishbone, independent rear suspension. It has the Porsche 356 style beam up front. But Ted ended up becoming ill and passed away before this could get finished. And it found its way to our shop and basically got dropped off, and we were told if you can find a home for it and design a commission around it, they would love to see it carried on in that form. So about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, a gentleman came through the shop and saw this and decided to commission and carry on the story and the build of this. The tube buck that you see here is my son Finn's first solo design. He laid this out piece by piece, freestyling it, and really capturing the late 50s, early 60s privateer racer aesthetic in this design. It's very cool. So this build will be our first Polo 4-cylinder powered car. And if you guys aren't familiar with the Polo engine, it was an engine that has been developed by Dean Palopoulos out in California, where he took a 911 engine, which is a 6-cylinder, and cut the center two pistons and jugs out of it and shortened it to make it a 911-4. He has refined this and developed this engine over the course of, I think, almost 30 years, and it's a really cool, really exotic motor. And my customer decided that would be fitting for this project. So we're really excited about that. If you look closely at the details on this chassis, which were done by Ted Dunham, some really cool little touches. The brakes have been lightened, drilled. He tracked down as many period components as possible, with the exception, of course, of the coilovers. Built his own uprights for the rear that mate to a 901 gearbox, which we're going to beef up for that larger motor. But some really cool details on this. And this has laid the path for our future chassis. We've got the blessing from the family of Ted, who made this, to continue this chassis on and refine it with our own modified independent front suspension and some really exciting engine upgrades that we're going to be doing on that Polo 911 4-cylinder. So I can't wait to show you guys that. Those will be coming later this spring. So in the process of integrating that 911 4-cylinder Polo engine into our existing build, we started to think, well, what would it take to further develop that engine? What would Porsche have done back in the day? So we had this idea of how could we make that into a 4-cam like the original Furman, but with the more modern 911 components inside. One thing led to another, and we've hired a firm out of the UK to build these 4-cam 16-valve top-end cam chests for that engine. And we have received our first 4 units. They're beautifully crafted. And this engine will be fuel injected, 2.4 liter, right around 300 horsepower conservatively, and redline will be 9,000 RPM with a 10,000 RPM over rev limiter on it. We should see that engine running mid to late spring of 2025. So that's some exciting news. and we are developing that engine further. We've got some really exciting news coming along with that, but for now, we'll leave it at that. All right, another project we've got going here, and this is the most immediate project, is this RS Coupe that we're building. As you can see, we're fitting the panels. Things are starting to get permanently fixed to the tube chassis. This is powered by our 2.3 liter, the little pushrod 4-cylinder engine, putting out about 180, 190 horsepower, 4-speed manual transmission. And again, this is a body that Finn took my existing RS design and just slightly massaged the flow of the roof line, fender lines. The hood has deeper draws on it. It's a really beautiful design. And this one should be coming together in the next couple of months here and on the road. So we'll have some more updates coming on it. Finn has been doing all of the stitch work, the leather work on this, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. We'll show you guys some pictures of that as well. Another tool we've added to the shop this year is this planishing hammer from JRM Tool Company. This is the X3-45 model. A friend of mine had this in his upholstery shop and hardly ever used it, so I picked it up from him, and it has proven to be a great tool to have. As you guys know, I primarily use the English wheel for finishing, and this has allowed me to get in and planish out welds on the car, do things that I just didn't really do before, ultimately giving us a cleaner product in the end and saving time. So this machine came with just the hoop that you see here, and after using it, I was so impressed with it, I ordered the other more ergonomic, I guess, handheld hoops to be able to work on the cars easier. So great tool, I'd highly recommend it. And Jason, the owner of the company, has been great to work with as well. So another great tool that we added to the shop this year is this Miller Multimatic 220. This welder has 3 different capabilities: stick, TIG, and MIG welding, all in one unit with basically just pushing a button and adjusting a dial. So this has been super handy for Finn and I to have in the shop, because I can go from TIG welding body panels to Finn welding up the tube bucks, and then also using it for rust repair and things like that on other projects. So super handy welder, and it's really an affordable setup too for what all you get. So as you guys can see, we've had a ton of things going on here at the shop. A lot of new developments with creating our own engine components, and we're excited to share those things with you going into the new year. Thank you guys for following along. Happy New Year, and we'll see you soon.